Today I watched a film that claims science proves the existence of God, or at least supports it. The film is called The Story of Everything. It's a very flashy looking film. I'm Chris Earl, I'm a scientist and writer and an atheist, so I'm just going to share some thoughts, my initial thoughts after watching that movie. The first half of the movie is kind of about the origins of the universe, the idea of the Big Bang. The claim in the movie is that scientists found the idea of the Big Bang initially intolerable because it would point towards a God, a creator that must have been the initial thing to cause the universe to come into existence. I think that's a simplification of the history. My own field is molecular biology, so I was much more interested in the second half, which talks about the origin of life, the nature of life, in particular the fact that we have the genetic code, which is in the sequence of letters in the DNA, and how that just seems so, almost to the makers of the film, too miraculous to have come about without an intelligence behind it. One of the things about this movie is I'm kind of torn, and that's because I've connected with a lot of people through social media who do believe in God and are interested in science, and of course this is a really appealing message for people, the idea that science and religion can marry up in this way, and it's been done in quite a beautiful way in this movie. I mean, it looks really good, but like anything of this type, it's the information that's left out that's really the problem. The story that's being offered is a simplified and misleading account of how life may have originated on planet Earth. Just because something's complicated doesn't mean that we can't understand it. And I think the origin of life, originating through naturalistic processes as we know it did on Earth 4 billion years ago, is a very different prospect from being able to actually explain it. And it does stand as one of the big questions in all of science, one of the holy grails in terms of something that we could explain. Now, I think we will explain that sooner rather than later in the grand scheme of things. And I think if you do believe in God, to position your God at the origin of life is not the safest place for that God to inhabit. I'm still an atheist. I do think the origin of life is fascinating, so I share the wonder of that with the makers of this movie. But yeah, a lot to think about and ponder over